For which movie?
No, I've been getting a lot of questions about, like, how do I feel? Let's address the elephant in the room.
I just wanted to go on this little baby rant about Rachel Zegler, Disney's worst investment ever in the history of Disney investments.
Rachel Zegler is a loudmouth dope.
Snow White producer's son blames Rachel Zegler for poor box office.
She has this underlying anger and hatred in her that always has to take it like one step too far. So first and foremost, we're going to be cast as Snow White. Maybe appreciate the original Snow White.
She's going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
God forbid a woman dream about true love. We're all just sitting around here, oh, maybe I could be president one day. I hate men, I just want to be president.
Fastest way to tank your career, go out there and start running your mouth and trashing the original IP of the film you're in.
Great. Okay? Great. I'm honored. I don't know why I sound so angry right now. I'm honored. Am I a psychopath?
Rachel Zegler, a few devoted friends take in Hollywood's self-proclaimed next great thing in a cinema. She woke up. Who is at the center of this fairy tale gone wrong? The Snow White remake was not simply a failure. It was a $270 million face scheme. The lights dim, the credits roll, and whistles our princess of unwavering faith Zegler, Rachel. Welcome back to reality, Your Highness. As of April 1st, the damage is still smoking, and Disney's most recent statistics show that this catastrophe is only becoming more horrifying.
Do you want to be Snow White, or do you hate Snow White? Do you want to destroy Snow White? They went way too woke. They ended up kind of changing the whole movie.
Snow White became a box office poison apple due to Rachel Zegler's enormous ego and relentless woke crusade. Not even near to Rachel and her crew, her charm was able to wake this sleeping monster. With popcorn buckets in hand and ready to cheer, Ilda Jorge Remy Maria is yelling her name on Instagram stories like a talent show hype girl. However, the cinema is empty, so they attempt a TikTok act. For which movie? Says the regal guy.
Please. For which movie?
Hello, this is Rachel Zegler. She's holding her Snow White swag and grinning as though he's the fool for not realizing. How could it not be Snow White? The camera moves to their themed buckets and cups, where everyone is laughing and making stupid faces. Doesn't the silly peasant realize she's a star? Oh, Rachel, you thought this was a viral slam dunk of your fame so obvious it's laughable. Instead, he would ask, please laugh at my flop cringe. Her ego stole the show in the saddest way, and now that the movie is failing more badly than a Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light campaign that makes fun of her aging like milk.
Greatest Disney box office bomb in the history, Disney live-action remakes, but certainly also the end of her career.
Rachel recently remarked, people will wait in line to see my films despite my flaws, and she is holding a flower in an empty theater, which is likely a sympathy present because the box office wasn't giving out awards.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. That at every premiere, everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Oh my dear, the only thing standing in line right now is the internet, which is prepared to burn you and do just that. Sean Lennon Ono on March 31st, according to Yahoo, John Lennon's son labeled her a detached brat, claiming that her failure was expected given that her career had earned $700 million overall owing to the Hunger Games, and that her second highest grossing film was a meaningless triumph that demonstrated her ego above her abilities.
When a cartoon character that was voiced in the 30s has more humanity and charm than the actual person who was filmed on screen in live action, that's a problem.
Online detractors assert, welcome back to reality, princess. Social media's got empty seating charts and GoFundMe jokes. Next up is Danica Patrick, a former RA driver, who is now a Trump supporter. According to US Weekly, on March 30th, she uploaded a video about Rachel and the movie's failure on her Instagram story, with a scathing farewell as subtle as a sledgehammer. In the video that she posted, Danica attacked Rachel's corporate feminism and TikTok activism, alleging that she was benched from Toy Story 5 and Pirates reboots by studios like Disney. The MAGA fan who supported Trump in 2024 evidently saw Rachel's anti-Trump tirades as a personal invitation to the roast, and her two-word kiss-off had her ex buzzing. Some cheered, while others cried foul. However, the chaos peaked in 2025 when a racer dunked on a princess, while Disney's empire burned the cleanup more like a dumpster fire.
I just have to note the smugness and superiority on this 23, 25, something like that, girl's face. Young, a little bit of humility, you know? This is a story that's been around for a long, long time. You're not improving on it. So they took out the famous theme song, Someday My Prince Will Come, because it's not fair for a woman to live for love or want to find love or want to find a prince. They were not going to do that anymore, and they replaced it with the far more catchy song, this typical girl power anthem.
Unlike many egos, numbers don't lie. Previews for Thursday, $3.5 million during the inaugural weekend, $43 million for a movie worth over $250 million. Dumbo performed better than The Little Mermaid remake, which received $95 million in initial advertising revenue. $150 to $200 million plus $50 million for reshoots, for a total of $450 to $500 million. After launching, they would require $1 billion and $87 million worldwide. After ancillaries say deadline, the company is now projecting a $115 million loss after a bloodbath. However, rumors on XPeg suggest that it's closer to $300 million when all is said and done. On April 1st, it's $142 million worldwide, according to Collider, with a second weekend drop to $14 million, a 66% nosedive worse than Dumbo's Disney. Over spring break, executives are likely praying for a miracle while investors craft sell memoranda.
Disney threw her under the bus, but I mean, not unjustifiably so. You can't be like, Rachel Zegler's innocent in all this. She did no damage to the box office. We're seeing it because of her.
Rachel stated, I hope people wait in line to see me like the wing victory at the Lou Bold for a premiere with more tumbleweeds than tickets. This clip has gone viral again, with people on social media laughing at the irony of her Lou Visions versus empty seats after Ian Miles Chang on X dubbed this Disney's worst live-action remake ever.
BBC said Disney Snow White has a major identity crisis. I mean, guys, every single one of these reviews is just absolutely brutal. And what you also need to know is that these are not politically driven reviews. I mean, most of them are from the camp that should be supporting Disney, that should be behind this new progressive take on Snow White, and yet they can't because the film is apparently just that bad.
With her woke antics, Rachel challenged it to fail, and it's a masterpiece in arrogance. People enjoy fairy tales. Thus, Snow White labeling Prince Charming a stalker and the 1937 movie are strange news flashes. The romance and the magic the classic feel it's not necessary for everything to be female. Snow White and her prince saving each other is a heartwarming story that wins for both, but Rachel and Disney were too busy showcasing their feminist credentials. She boasted about abandoning the love story for empowerment, like, congrats, you turned a classic into a soapbox. Audiences want entertainment, not lectures. This ship was sunk by Disney's girl bosses' infatuation with having fun. Despite their progressive casting of dwarf actors, Peter Dinklage complained about CGI dwarfs as well, calling it a step backwards move. Jason A. Kuna, for example, echoed him in the Daily Mail, saying that the woke cleanup bombed harder than the Wicked Queen's apple at Lost Jobs.
It's a bad thing. I'm not agreeing with it. One, because you're replacing jobs that people could have as little people. Okay. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's for dwarfs. Why are you hiring Snow White and the seven average people?
Trump fans never understand peace classy, losing half of your audience after the election in May. After her tweet received 4 times as many views as the trailers for each variation, Disney recruited a social media nanny.
Trump wins, and Rachel decides to go on really just a psychopathic, demented rant, basically accusing all Trump supporters of being awful people, which is par for the course. I'm okay with that. But then she wished harm on Trump and all of his supporters for the next years to come. And you're so out of touch. You've never probably even spoken to a farmer or a rancher. You don't know any people to speak up who have issues filling up their tank. You've just been living in Hollywood, La La Land for so long.
Galadoo shades icy smiles during filming turned to Rachel's pageant queen jab at the 2025 Oscars, asking why the gal's Israeli roots clashed with Rachel's Palestine post so recklessly. On March 31st, Pedro Pascal called her an icon, according to the Tribune, but fans blasted him for supporting a sinking ship too late. This fire was started by Rachel's ego. Rumor has it that they had issues on set with Galadoo getting her lines wrong, which frustrated Rachel during filming. That's the least of her worries, but it definitely doesn't help this film at all. Disney paid for G to use extra security after threats, and fans on X are now blaming her for her wooden acting as well, calling her the true poison apple.
Also, there's nothing wrong with wanting a man. Can we not have chivalry in this world anymore? There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I'd love for a man to come scoop me up and provide for me.
TLDR, the girls and the gays, we all want a man. We all dream about true love. So Disney, that is not outdated.
Executives are worried about whether a $270 million fairy tale can fail this badly due to didactic overreach. Perhaps viewers prefer escape over lectures, insiders speculate, and Disney is lowering its moral standards in anticipation of future remakes like Lilo and Stitch, according to Daily Mail reports. After Snow White's failure caused an anti-woke U-turn, Hollywood is in crisis mode, dumping trans actors and liberal scripts. Rachel didn't just fail at this. She might have unintentionally saved Hollywood from its sermon binge. Rachel's ego wrote a check for her talent, believing she would preach her way to fame, but that woke posturing turned Snow White into a cautionary tale. Stories are what audiences desire, not sanctimony. Is this movie doomed? Like if you love the tea and subscribe for more Hollywood train wrecks. Or did Rachel kill it? I'll see you in another video tomorrow.